Hello, ni hao. Welcome to Mandarin Mama Chit Chat by Mandarin Together, where two Taiwanese moms, Trista and Yaoyao, share their experiences in raising bilingual children, exploring identity, code switching, and embracing the joys and challenges of bilingual parenting. Come along with us on this exciting journey.
Hey guys, it's Yaoyao. I want to jump in here real quick. I want to let you guys know Krista and I have some free resources. I want to make sure you guys take advantage of it. Check our show notes. There should be a link that says free resources. Click on that and grab all the goodies you can.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. Today, Yao Yao and I will be sharing our experiences growing up in Taiwan and how those experiences have shaped our approach to parenting our kids. Join us on this journey as we navigate and find a balance while raising our kids in both American and Taiwanese cultures. So Yao Yao, why don't you start for us? What was your family dynamic like growing up and how was your experience like?
Okay, so my family, I did not grow up with quote unquote normal family. My parents weren't around. We can do 5 episodes talking about my story, so we're not gonna do that. So I stayed with my parents when I was little, kind of on and off, but staying with nanny most of the time. I did move back to live with my dad when I turned 9. That's about third grade. My mom wasn't around. We will meet here and there, but my dad was busy running a restaurant business. So basically, I by myself a lot. So in Taiwan, we actually walk to school. So I will walk to school and come back home. I'll walk on my own. And then I always go out and buy breakfast, right? So I'll have my allowance and I go out and buy breakfast and I will head to school. And they weren't really around. That's why I didn't really focusing on my study. I know studying is really important in Taiwan. I know seeing classmate going to 补习班, we can talk about that after school. For me, I just go home and watch TV. So I am not the norm just because my family dynamic. I left when I was 14. So in Taiwan, it's first grade to sixth grade is elementary, right? And then 小学 elementary, 7, 8, 9. That's 国中, that's middle school. So I left I did 8th grade for a little bit. And then I left, I think for 1 semester I left. And I think middle school, that's when kind of you have to study very hard and grades are really important and teachers are really scary. Like I get spanked all the time. Like, no, we're not. Do you say spank? 打手心. Like, I'll get hit on my hand. Like they'll have like some kind of stick. Yes, some kind of stick. And like, if you get below certain grade, line up. And then you had to, get spanked on your palm. And I'm always the one like get in trouble. And you have to stand up too. Okay, if you get 100, stand up like on your test. 90, stand up. 80, it goes down, down, down. And I'm always like the last person. So I'm not anymore. Let's talk about your story.
So physical punishment, right? 体罚. I would say it's banned now or less, definitely a lot less common now in Taiwan. Yeah. But growing up, yes. When I was in elementary school, that happened as well. For example, the teacher would say, everybody has had to get at least 90, right? 90 out of 100. If you get 89, then you get hit once, right? You get 89, you get once because it one score below, 1 point below, and 88 you get 2 points. You hit twice, right? Get 2 points below. So at least that was my experience, and I know that was terrifying. And about what you said about like standing up and sit down part, it's public humiliation. It's like looking back, I think it's really toxic. But some people thrive in that. So I have two siblings, Didi and Mei. I'm the oldest. And the reason I came to America was actually to escape from that education because I was just not a good fit. And I was failing miserably, and failing not in terms of literally failing, like, getting Fs in all my classes, but more like I was so stressed and I just hated it and I was miserable. So that's when I asked my parents, can I please study abroad? That's what brought me to America. I was back home, my family and my friends like, wow, you're so brave and bold. That's very adventurous. But for me, deep down, I know it was nothing honorary per se. It was more, I cannot stand this. I really need to get out. So, so I just want to piggyback right on that. And then I know like after each 段考, right, the midterm, the final exams, the monthly exams, at least in my high school, they would put everybody's like the name along with their scores. So everybody knows what you get. It's like in America, it's illegal. It's privacy, right? You don't publish other people's grades. But in Taiwan, that's a method for them to, I guess, publicly shame you. So to push you to, I guess, reach your limit, reach your potential. And I just was not doing well in that kind of environment. Yeah. So anyway, rewind. So my experience growing up, I grew up in rural Taiwan called Jiayi. And my grandparents lived with us then. So I grew up with my grandparents, 阿公, 阿嬷, 爸爸, 妈妈, and my younger siblings, Didi and Mei. Okay. And growing up, my parents weren't really around a lot either. But because my grandparents, 阿公, 阿嬷, stayed with us. So when I went home, there was always people. Like there was always people in my house. I wasn't just alone by myself. And great. So my dad is a professor, and grades and academic achievements was everything. Everything. The only thing he cared about. And especially math. Math and English were the two things. Because English is like international language. He always had a goal for us to leave Taiwan, not necessarily immigrant, but he wanted us to see the world. And English just, I guess, natural, right? There's a lot of English speaking countries. Even you go to America, England, English is like a very common language in the world. So he really emphasized on English and math. So when I was first grade, he was giving me third grade math material. When I was, I don't know, second, just always in advance. And I know in America, like chores are shared by family members. So I'm not, again, that's my personal story, right? I don't know if it's applicable. I actually have no idea whether it was a norm or not. But at home, we don't share chores together. All the cleaning, the cooking, were done by my grandma and my parents. And all growing up, all we were expected to do was to study and study and study. If we wanted to, we didn't grew up, we did not have any family outings or vacations per se, because my dad would be like, oh, when the days off from school, that's a time where you can really focus on your advancing classes. So for example, I was first grade, he wanted me to study third grade math, right? So that's when, when you're not in school, that's when you can learn more advanced, you can be ahead of other people. And I'm not sure why I did not go to 补习班 cram school, but 补习班 culture, the cram school culture, is also very common. Almost everybody goes. So take a pause. What is 补习班? Basically, it is another institution, like a private tutoring. So after school, you go to another school, but focusing on what you're lacking. For example, if I was not good at math, then I will go to a 补习班 that focused on math. Like remedial learning, I guess. Or sometimes you're really good at the subject matter. Then you would go to 补习班 and then you learn more advanced materials. Not sure why I never went. Maybe because I didn't want to. But both my siblings, Didi and Mei, went. So yeah. But even though I say this, I still have a lot of fun memories. We still have, we still did things together as a family. I still have fun memories with my family. But just looking back, there's really no anything else. Just everything is wrapped around grades and school. And yeah, like my Right. And then I want to mention something. So there was this meme or I saw is the Asian education grading scale. I know, yeah, I saw it too. It's like the A stands for average, B below average, and C is you can't eat dinner. D is like don't come home, and F just like find a new family. I could totally relate and resonate with that. My dad always wanted us to be the number one in our class, like the entire grade level. If we are the second or third place, it's I don't know. It's not the end of the world, but you would know. Like my dad would not be happy if we don't get perfect score. If we get 99, 98, instead of saying, "Oh, you get 99, 98%, that's good job." He would be focusing on what happened. Why did you miss that 1 point? What did you do wrong? What are you lacking? So that was my experience growing up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why there's a stereotype here, right? In America. Oh, you're Asian. You're supposed to be good at math. You're supposed to be super smart. You're supposed to get all straight A's. I just thought about something I want to share. Two things. So the first one, so when I was growing up, I love to sing. I love to act. I'm like samba, kind of that kind of girl, like always dancing and singing. So I had a dream. I want to be a singer when I was little in Taiwan. I want to go audition for different things. That's my passion. That's my hobby. And even though my mom wasn't always around, when I was with her, I will tell her that's what I want to do. And they never supported me. They're like, what are you going to do? Like, singing, that's just a silly dream. That's just, can you just focus on studying? If you get a degree, you get good grades, there are more things you can do in life. What are you going to do to be a singer? So I remember vividly my dream kept getting crushed. I didn't end up being a singer, but I mean, even till this day, I look back and like, oh man, like I still have that passion. I still go karaoke all the time. So I think, and that's the thing. I'm sure I'm just speaking on my own. I'm sure not all the Asian or Taiwanese parents are like that. But now my daughter, Millie, she loves to sing. She's like a mini version of me. And that's her dream. She's like, Mommy, I want to be a singer. And every time she says that, and she's been taking a voice lesson since she was 5 because I'm all for it. She's not the best singer, okay? She is not. But she likes it, and I want to support her. And maybe because growing up, I didn't get that support, and I knew how I was little, and I knew I love it so much. And I want to support her. It doesn't matter if she probably will be a singer or she probably will not, but at least I am supporting her, and it can be a hobby of her when she's older. And another story I want to share, I went back to Taiwan summer 2023. And my son, he plays baseball. Not the best baseball player, but it's just something for them to do, right? After school activity. And he picked baseball. And I thought it would be a great opportunity for him to play baseball in Taiwan. So I signed him up for a community baseball team in Taipei. We went back and he started playing, and they have few games. And I was so shocked. I was amazed that youth baseball in Taiwan is really strong. And that's something I didn't know because I did not play baseball or any sports when I was little. I guess I didn't pay attention. I didn't know that Taiwanese youth baseball is so strong. And I have the statistic here because we were watching the 2023 Little League World Series. Taiwan in Taoyuan, one of the elementary, actually won third place. There are 10 teams from the United States, 10 teams from other countries. And we made it to number 3, which is really good. And Taiwan also won 2023 Junior League Baseball World Series as well. The team defeated the United States is 6-0. So we have a really strong youth baseball. So, and I was watching them play. I'm like, oh my goodness, they're so good. They're so driven and so determined. And they all have a lot of passion. And got curious. I started talking to the coach and to other parents. And they're like, yeah, we have a really strong youth baseball. But and I was asking, I was like, how come we're not seeing more Taiwanese baseball player in MLB in the professional level? So I was talking to one of the moms. She said, so her younger son, he's still playing because he's in elementary school. Older son, he is in middle school. And she told me that they don't let him play anymore. And I was like, oh, why? Why don't you let them play anymore? He's like, well, he's in middle school. He needs to go to 补习班, the after school, the cram. What did you say? Cram school?
Yep, cram school.
Yeah, after school. So there is no time for baseball anymore. And then we start chatting. And then we came to realize it's actually the culture. So lots of kids, if they like, doesn't matter, baseball, basketball, if they're group or piano. I was talking to my second cousin from my husband's side. She is in middle school right now, and from all her elementary years, she played piano. She's so good. She won competitions and just really good piano player. And she stopped right now. She's just done. It's zero because she's in middle school and they need to focus on school and they go to 补习班 after school. It's no time for any extra activity. Doesn't matter musical or sport. It's just done. And I talked to, because I got curious. So I started talking to these few parents. And they're like, hey, what are they going to do? You think they're really going to be a baseball player? I can't take that risk. Every other kids are going to 补习班. I can't just let my kid to go play piano and pursue quote unquote a piano dream. I mean, or be a baseball player, right? The chances are really low. So I can't take that chance. So I just came to realize it's a culture thing and you can't blame them, right? We can't blame them because in the US, it's so different. We have kids play all kind of sport. We have, even in high school, we have different sports team, right? Or band. I'm sure they have band in Taiwan too, but it's just the culture. It's so different and you can't really, and I totally understand. I feel bad. They're so good, right? Because I was looking at all these kids playing baseball with my son, Jace. They are so good, but eventually it will come to an end because they have to focus on school. Yeah.
So I know in America, some high schools you get testing too if it's a bigger city, right? But usually you don't, you just go to the high school in your district, in your neighborhood. So I guess something to add is in Taiwan, the reason why middle school, like parents kind of crack down or like, oh, you have to solely focus on your academic achievement is because you get testing to the high school and then there are different tracks per se. There's like the number one top tier high school, tier 2, tier 3, and that I wouldn't say if you go to tier 2, you won't be able to get accepted to a big college. But I guess we all know even in America, people try, like the highly rated school districts, the property taxes are higher. The house prices are higher because of socioeconomic differences, I guess, the separation. So that's why the parents really want their kids to do really great, to really good at the high school entrance exam, because they do well, they get accepted to a tier 1 high school. Then that's a better chance for them to get into maybe medical school, law school, business school, or the top tier universities, highly rated universities. So I guess that's a little background of it. So that so speaking of that, so when I was 5th or 6th grade, I think I told my dad that I want to learn piano. But my dad was like, oh, I wish you could have told me sooner because now you're going to middle school and you would have no time to do that. But in America, they're like, what are you talking about? 5th and 6th grade are still kids. But just because of the, I guess, the education system difference. And then something to say is, so in America, usually when you go to 4-year college, it's just general education. Obviously, you choose your majors. But if you want to go to law school, you want to go to medical school, is after the 4-year educations, right? After university. But in Taiwan, it's determined when you go to college. So as a 18-year-old senior in high school, you are applying to medical school. You're applying to law school because you declare your major then. But obviously, medical school, for example, my sister, she's toward the end of her medical school education. You're, I believe, it's 7-year program now. So if you, after high school, you get accepted into medical school, then it's a 7-year education for you, and so for your college. And it's highly, highly competitive. And also in America, if you take ACT or SAT, right, and you apply to universities, if you say, oh, this ACT is not the ideal, I can take it again next month, right? But in America, but in Taiwan, unfortunately, the college entrance exam happens once a year. If somehow you don't do well, and that one time, maybe let's say you're out of luck, you had a flu, or even not necessarily, you just weren't prepared enough, right? But you would have to wait a whole nother year. You would have to go to the cram school, 补习班, or 重考班, specifically 重考班, to repeat the exam. So you would go there. It's like highly intensive environment. If you think about Taiwanese education, the high school, it is intense already. It's even more intense because my sister with a Mei actually had to go to that because she was so driven and determined she wanted to get accepted to medical school. And it's not unheard of that people are in this 重考班 for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or sometimes even longer, which sounds ridiculous, but it just, again, that's a culture. And it's not easy. It's really difficult, not impossible, but it's really difficult for people to switch their major down the road. And then once you're in the major, like the whole path is kind of fixed, determined. Go to medical school, you go through the whole long schooling, residency, you become a doctor, and then that is, yes, you could probably get out of the track, get out of the path, but it's really, really difficult.
Yeah. Do you think that's why many people in Taiwan or in Asia per se want to move to US for quote unquote better education? I was talking to a dad, it's same baseball team in Taiwan. I was talking to many parents, just get to know them and understand the whole dynamic and the culture. He speaks English really well because I think he imports fruit from America to Taiwan. So he does like work in the US. So he knows the culture. Maybe he has family. I think he has family member there. I can't really remember 100%. But he was against it. And his son is really good baseball player. He's really good. Same age as my son. He's one of the best. And he was like, I don't buy it. I don't want to. I'm gonna let him play baseball all he wants. And he's in elementary now, I think third grade. But he said eventually he wants his son to keep playing even through middle school. And hopefully they can move to US to have a different education system, because he said he likes the American kind of the culture and the system. We support kids to do extra school activity, right? But in Taiwan, he doesn't like it. He said all the kids they go to 补习班, and it's sad. Or how do you say 很可惜,很可惜, like
Yeah, like pitiful, 可惜. It
可
just,
惜, yeah, because like you're so good at something, and then suddenly you just can't. You don't have time to do it anymore. Yeah.
to circle that. So I feel like, so I'm a teacher, right? And which I feel very fortunate that I can see the education from different aspects. Well, my kids are still younger, but from a student perspective and my perspective. So a little backstory: in Taiwan, my math was never good, like really bad. But when I came to the US, my math somehow was really good. I was able to take AP, and then even the AP, the calculus, came easy to me. Or I don't want to say easy, but it was a lot easier for me to grasp than when I was in Taiwan. So, I mean, there are downsides, right? There's pros and cons for everything. So I would say, I don't know, if I could have a magic wand, I almost want the two combined. But also America is so big, right? Different school district, different education. So some people go to private school, college prep schools, then that is very intensive and very advanced as well. So I'm not speaking for all, but just like generally like public school education, I would say, I don't know. Yeah, I love the student get to have the freedom to choose what they want to do, and then so many extracurricular activities. While in Taiwan, it's almost like the extreme, right? So in Taiwan, not accurate, but I know like school days in high school starts at 7:30 and goes all the way to I think 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. Does it sound right?
I can't remember. Are you talking about elementary or middle school?
High school. I'm talking about high school.
Okay, high school, I wouldn't know because I did not attend high school. I'm not sure.
Okay. So in high school, so I attended high school in Taiwan for a couple of years. So in Taiwan, 高中 high school, there are 3 years because middle school, 国中 are 3 years, right? So you have 3 years of high school in Taiwan. The first year, first year, that's fine. You take all general classes. But right before second year, you would have to choose your track, such as you want to go into the humanities. You want to go into business. Do you want to go into STEM or like medical school? So you choose your track. And then when you're in different tracks, your college entrance exams are different too. So starting the second year of your high school, you are learning essentially different things already. And because my math was not good at all, somehow it never clicked. So I chose the humanities. So would be the humanities. I guess the literature, English, like the humanities program. And when I came, so then if you're in Taiwan, you talk to anybody who was in high school, you would know all the humanities, usually like the stereotype, or it's like, oh, your math isn't that great. But when I came here to the US, somehow my math was really good, and I was shocked, surprised, a pleasant surprise. But yeah, so I guess I don't want to say there are pros and cons and everything. I can see the concern of if the whole environment is so competitive, and if you don't go to cram school, you don't do all these studying, you are left behind, right? You are disadvantaged. So I feel really, really fortunate that the fact I wasn't a good fit in the Taiwanese education, and my parents were financially able to send me, to support me to study abroad. And fortunately, my sibling had the opportunity too. Like my parents offered the same as well, but they didn't want to come to the US, or just they didn't want to study abroad, and they thrive in that environment. They did really well. And then when I was talking to them looking back, I was like, I was just miserable in high school and the education. I don't know how you guys made it through. My siblings actually thought it was okay. I guess that it was just a norm. And looking back, sometimes when you invested so much time and effort in one thing, you gain a sense of accomplishment, right? So I almost want to say my siblings are like the successful stories, or they thrive in that environment, and looking back, they wouldn't do anything differently. They liked it. Me, on the other hand, were just, so I was really fortunate I was able to escape or leave.
Yeah, I think it depends on personality too. Like if you're a perfectionist, like I think it will be so much pressure for you. Like I didn't meet the standard, but if you just don't, you're more relaxed and you're able to like adapt and adjust, maybe you will thrive in that environment. And I think I live in Houston and I have a school age children, so I can kind of speak to that. In where I live, there are a lot of Asians, Indian, Chinese, Taiwanese, Vietnamese. And our school, both our elementary school in my district, the school that my kids go to, elementary school, middle school, high school, they're all ranked top 10 in Texas. Okay. Not to stereotype, but because there are so many Asians here. And I think we kind of brought that culture, that norm to this community. There are lots of Indian in our school in Chinese, and we have a lot of quote unquote 补习班 after school, like Kumon, that kind of 补习班 around in our community. So I think it's like a little Asian culture here in our subdivision. Like there are a lot of smart and hardworking kids in our school. And I feel bad because my daughter, she's a fifth grade. She can't even, like, how in Taiwan we do multiplication so fast. One times one is what? Two times real fast, because I think you memorize it, right? She can't do that. she still can't memorize her whole chart of multiplication. She all needs to count. And she's in 5th grade. She's doing okay in school, but I do see, but she's only in elementary. I heard it gets more and more competitive, especially in high school. I hire her a tutor. She has a tutor from school, but not to the 补习班 just yet. I don't want to, my personal preference, I don't want to put it on her. Just yet. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess shift a little bit to like how our experience growing up, how that influenced our parenting styles, right? Because when you said, so I guess for me personally, grew up, my dad was always the authoritative figure. He could not be questioned, challenged. He cannot, still can't. And grades are everything. And that's the only thing. And there's like no outings, like family outings and vacations, right? So I feel like growing up, that was a part that's like missing, and I really craved, I really wanted. So now, not saying this is a good solution, but it makes sense that now, because I didn't like that. So my parenting is like almost like 180, take a 180 turn. So I mean, obviously my kids are still 4 and 2, so we're not talking about academic achievement just yet, but I'm like open to all possibilities, all opportunity. But in terms of family outings and vacations, I cram our weekends. Like I booked, our weekends are so busy to the point my like, can you please slow down because this is too much. Like, and which I hear him. I understand. I guess I need to focus on what is important, right? Like, is important is I spend time together than by filling up our like like having our weekend jam packed. We just can't even enjoy it, right? Because it's just too busy, too overwhelming. So anyway, I need to take a step back. But I think it's interesting too, after becoming a parent, sometimes I reflect why I am the parent I am today. I think it goes back to how I was raised, and that piece definitely impacted how my decision making. And my dad was an authoritative figure, right? He cannot be questioned or challenged, and he would never apologize. He's never wrong. He's always right. So I think that's a good side effect that came from it is I am always apologizing to my kids if I did something wrong but sometimes, I have emotions too. Sometimes I get really angry. I rage at my son who is 4 now. And like I would maybe raise my volume or, scream at him at times. There are rare occasions, but I've done that before. And I would always circle back and try to reason with him and apologize. Say, I'm sorry, I did that. I was feeling angry. And because that's something my parents would never, never do. And I so wish that would have done it. So it's just interesting after becoming a parent and now like self-reflecting and see why I do the things I do. So yeah.
Yeah, same. Like, that's why I was saying earlier that I try to support my kids. They want to sing, they want to play baseball. I want to support them. And one thing I never do, my mom used to do that all the time. She likes to compare. Oh, your cousin, she's gets straight A's. Look at you. So that's one thing that I never do. I don't compare my kids to any of their friends or their classmates or their grades. Well, I don't compare them at all. And it also depends on the kids. So my son, he has hearing loss, and we didn't find out till he was 5. And the school tested him. He actually has dyslexia. So he really has hard time learning. So he's not getting the best grade. I'm talking about C, couple D, B. But I never really get mad at him on that. I know he's trying. So I encourage him. It's okay, And my daughter will be like, how come you get so excited when he gets like a 80? I was like, because that's 80 is like 100 for him. 80 is really good. I feel this double standard, but because he has little disability, because my daughter, she's a fast learner. She learned fast. She gets almost straight A's. So if he come back at like a 70 and something, I'm like, what is going on? Like, you need to study more. So I guess just depends on your kids' learning style or their personality. And I mean, we all different. So I try not to put so much pressure on them. I mean, same with my daughter. I say, she actually really hard on herself if she gets a bad grade. Like she got a 76 on math the other day. So it's okay. You just have to make it up the next time. I guess when growing up, seeing that much pressure in grades back in Taiwan and studying, I try not to do that to my kids, but also be aware, okay, you can't just not study at all. If you try your best and you get a bad grade or maybe something happened, you don't feel good at it, it's okay. Or we will work on it. And always supporting them if they want to do any extra school activity, I'm all for that. And I can see like how you like plan all these trips or like family time is very important, right? And I think your husband's right too. What did I say? Quality is better than quantity or something like that. And I think because you work, and that's why, like for working mom, you feel like you don't get to spend so much time with your kids. And when you have time off, like I need to spend every second with my kids. I need to take them to this play, that play, this festival, to the zoo, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yes. Because I feel weekends are so short. Like really short, only 2 days. And then cleaning, meal prep and all that, it's basically gone and all the errands. So yeah, so that's my mentality. It's like, oh, they're only so little for so long. And I want to, I don't know, like do as many things as I can within a short amount of time, like the weekend and then their, I guess, toddler years. And I actually, so because grew up, so I came to America as a high schooler. And so majority of my education or like K through 12 education was done in Taiwan and grew up in Taiwan. I actually feel really lucky in a sense that I am versed in both cultures and both parenting or education styles. And me being a teacher, also like I teach in high school, but I know a little bit about like elementary school because I also taught in elementary school for a little bit too. I just feel really fortunate. I get to see the ins and outs, and I just need to self-reflect more and then really ask myself what do I value? What are my priorities? Because no, having all these, I guess, knowledge, right, information, like, but at the end of the day, I need to know my kids as well. What is best for them? Not just education, not just academic achievement, just their whole person development as well. So I feel I'm kind of jumping in, but like I'm just in between, and I love that me being between and seeing the pros and cons from both cultures.
Yeah, and I do want to add, just thought of something in, of course, not in every case, right? But a lot of Asian, when you say like tiger mom, quote unquote, or Asian parent, it's like you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer that is successful. If you do anything else, you want to be an artist, like what can you do? You can't even feed yourself if you want to be an artist. I think we have that mentality, and it's not our fault. I think it's just the culture, right? Inevitable to be successful, you have to be, I don't know, doctor, lawyer, and something like that. But I feel like now we live here in the US, and especially in this era, I feel like, and I do see tons of successful people that's not doctor or lawyer. I see successful artist, seeing successful YouTuber or gamer. There's tons of opportunity. There's not like one role, right? One fits all. I've seen successful actor, actress, but it doesn't mean you have to be Taylor Swift. That means you're successful. There are so many things you can do. You can teach little kids how to sing. You can sing at a church, right? Whatever. And I feel like successful, we have different meaning of successful, right? And it really depends up to each person. What makes you happy? What's successful to you, right? Some people might be, okay, successful to me is make $1 million. Other people maybe successful to me is help, I don't know, 10 straight dog, or successful to me is to own a farm, to raise chicken and pigs. Just to everyone's standard is different. And I tell my kids all the time, whatever they want to do, and I will support them to just be a good human being and be happy and stay healthy, and that's fine. You don't have to make straight A's and be a doctor or lawyer. So I kind of want to pass that mentality down to them. They can be anything, especially now with social media, with this technology. There's so many opportunity. You can be a successful podcaster, right? There's so many things you can do.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I totally agree. There are just endless possibilities, and with AI coming out, develop so rapidly, what the job market would look like in 10, 20 years are going to be very different from now. But I guess for me, at the end of the day, is yes, do what you enjoy doing, but make sure you stick to it and determine and be driven and stick to it. Because you cannot say, oh, I want to be an artist, I love art. But when it comes to hard work, right, work ethic, it's too hard. And I think it's reasonable that people are obsessed or more prone to the STEM majors, the fields, just because the job security, right? Like how it just demands are higher, the base pay is higher. It makes sense, the whole society, how the jobs makeup is. But I would say I'm open-minded to what my kids want to choose, what field they want to go into. But my minimum requirement would be you need to be able to feed yourself, right? You need to be able to make a living of it, and you can be independent. And then if you can do that, I think it's too early for me to talk about that. But I think for me down the road, if my kids comes home, my kid growing up, he wants to be a singer or actor and actresses, these kind of jobs started, it's hard to start, right? You know what I'm saying? Like there's that you can do all sorts of things. You can, I'm sure, but just it's might be rougher to start than if you were in a marketing finance major and the job opportunities there are just more, right? The security is higher. So I am open-minded to what they want to do, but at the end of the day, you need to be able to support yourself. I do not want you to live off me when you are a grown adult.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And there's a lot of people, they do kind of like a side hustle too. If you can have something and work on your passion on the side. And I've seen lots of successful story. I mean, they're still too young for that, but that's a good example. You can just find a security job, work on your side hustle, your passion, and you can quit your job later.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Way too. I think that was good. And actually chatting with you kind of clarify some things as well for myself, because I mean, yes, I be a mom for 4 years now because my son just turned 4 this past weekend. But there are also things parenting is such an ongoing learning journey. And sometimes when you say things aloud, right, or just listen to other parents, you learn from them and you self-reflect and you take notes and be better.
Yeah. Being a parent, gosh. And I have so much mom guilt, and being parents is so hard. So I think at the end of the day, we just can't judge ourselves. And I think it's a lifelong journey. We just keep learning and learning, and never judge a mom on their decision on anything, because you just don't know what they are going through. So I think we just need to be kind to each other and be kind to ourselves, because I judge myself all the time. And I think I'm being a parent for my daughter's almost 11. I'm sure I traumatized her already. Like the damage is already done. All right. So I heard this saying, like, it's okay. Worst case, they just go to therapy when they grow up. So I'm trying the best I can. And I even though I grew up in a quote unquote broken family, I'm adult now. I do not blame my parents. They did the best they can. So I think they're doing the best they can. We are doing the best they can. We're human. We're not perfect. We're gonna make mistake and somehow messed up our children. So it's okay. That's how we're all broken, right? All of us on this earth, we're all broken, but that's okay. We'll help each other and be
Yes.
better every day.
I love the mentality and positivity, but I mean, I don't know what exactly happened or what has happened, but I'm sure you're such a great mom. I don't think you traumatize your children at all.
Oh, I hope not.
But yeah, so this is, I guess, some sort of episode, just, me and Yao Yao just chatting about our journey, our childhood, and hope if you can relate or if you learned something from us or any feedback you would like to share with us, we'd love to hear from you guys.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
Thank you everyone for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you love our podcast, we would love for you to leave a review. It will mean so much for us. Any word of encouragement and support, it will keep us going. If you have any questions, email us at hello@mandarintogethernow.com. We will try to answer anything. If you have any topic you want to talk about, please let us know. You can also find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook. It is Mandarin Together Now. I will link everything in the show notes, so you can just click, follow us, DM us. We also made this cute dim sum flashcards and grab it from our show notes. All right, bye.